What's up, everyone? This is Maurine Kwende, your podcast host. You're listening to the Empowerment Minutes podcast. This is a podcast to empower you with nuggets on learning and development, training, leadership, coaching, entrepreneurship, and personal growth. I am a learning leader, researcher, speaker, coach, consultant, and author of the book Dream Big and Live Your Dreams Boldly. I'm also the CEO and founder of EMK Learning Solutions LLC. I'm so excited to be back on the show this week for another empowering episode. But before I do start the episode, I would like to say thank you for listening in every week. It makes a huge difference to me and all the listeners out there. So thank you so much. So now that the introduction is out of the way, let's get started with today's topic, leadership mindset. Are you at the beginning of your career journey, perhaps an instructional designer, maybe you're a trainer, an HR generalist, an individual contributor? This episode is actually for you. Many times, people who are just a few years in their career feel that they're not leaders. And the argument is, I just got started and not in the business of managing people. So you see, many times people confuse leadership with management. Leadership is not all about managing people. If you are the only employee, it doesn't mean you're not a leader. That's why I love this definition of leadership by John Maxwell, which says, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. When you're a leader, you add value to people. So that's why I would say that it's critical. Actually, it doesn't matter if you are at the beginning of your journey or not. You can add value to others and they work without you doing, managing people or managing a team. So it's really critical to develop a leadership mindset. So what's a leadership mindset? It actually involves having certain attitudes, beliefs, and expectations that create a basis or a foundation of who you are, how you lead others, and how you interact with and influence your co-workers. So having a leadership mindset has so many benefits. It would help you drive decisions. Having a great attitude, you would positively impact the work you do, including your relationships with others. In fact, a leadership mindset would grow your confidence enormously. It would also grow in the areas of emotional intelligence, communication, empathy, and much more. In the field of learning and development, as a trainer, instructional designer, HR specialist, your work contributes to the field. So you are a leader, and it's also important to cultivate a leadership mindset. So in this week's episode, I'm going to share some tips to help you develop a leadership mindset. The first tip I want to share is anticipating or embracing challenges. As an instructional designer, an HR representative, trainer, employee, you're constantly solving problems, right? Even if you're in customer service, you're constantly solving problems. These problems would actually never go away. As you solve one problem, then another problem starts, and you have to constantly, continue to figure these things out. Therefore, it's important to not be afraid of problems or challenges that show up in your place of work. Think about the COVID-19. Who saw it coming? But having a mindset that those challenges would come and you can face them and you can learn and grow from them would make you a better leader. So having a positive attitude is key. Learn to anticipate or embrace challenges. Change is not a bad thing. Okay? The next tip I want to share is developing a future mindset. So in other words, have a future-based mindset. Learn quickly and anticipate things in the future. As an L&D professional, you contribute to the future of your work, right? And therefore, realizing that you need to have a mindset to adapt quickly and not being stuck will serve you and your organization very well. The COVID, would always be an example. When you're thinking in the future, then you can anticipate those things and be an anticipatory leader. How can you anticipate things and put things in place so when they happen, then you're able to deal with them? So cultivating this mindset would also help you leave your legacy. I tell my clients all the time, that you have to think of, the future, right? But I always ask this question: what do you want to be remembered for? So even as an instructional designer, a trainer, an HR person, an e-learning developer, what do you want to be remembered for, right? So think about that. You want to have a future-based mindset. The third tip I want to share is about humility. Humility in leadership is so important. About 5 episodes, ago, I had a conversation with one of our special guests, Matthew Sosik, who wrote a book about this topic. And so if you think about it, most people think, humility in a leader, it's a weakness, you're not strong. And it's actually the opposite. It takes guts, for a leader to be humble. And many times people feel that, it's a negative instead of a positive. But the reverse is true. It takes strength to be a humble leader, because you have to be humble enough to learn and to grow. You're going to be able to be humble enough to learn from your mistakes and fail forward. My fourth tip is that of integrity. Have integrity. Be honest. One time I worked for an organization where the manager would, make wrong decisions and blame it on their employees, and they get punished for it. That's not good. Many times things happen in the organization. Things can go south. That's unexpected. You might make wrong decisions as well. But how about you taking ownership? That's critical. It went wrong. You own up to it instead of putting the blame on others. So that way you can learn from it, receive feedback, and fail forward. Okay? And the last tip I want to share is that you should truly care for others and the organization. People really don't care to know how much you know or who you are till they know that you care. Care for the organization that you work for and its success. Care for your team members, your co-workers, and their success. Care for these people. I tell my clients that the moment you stop loving the people that work with you, it's time to let it go and move to another team. Learn to truly care to help others become successful. When someone doesn't do well, instead of judging them, have a heart-to-heart conversation. See the good in others. Encourage them. Recognize their efforts. And when they go wrong, use constructive criticism. So these 5 tips, they would really help you to develop a leadership mindset. I can go on and on about this topic. As you know, I'm passionate about leadership, and my why is developing leaders. But I believe these nuggets that I've shared would help you develop a leadership mindset. It doesn't happen in one day. Keep practicing, and before you know it, you would be the leader you want to be. And then you'd begin developing other leaders around you. So that's it for this week's podcast. We've come to the end of this podcast. So to all our listeners out there, I want to thank you again and again for tuning into this wonderful episode. I want to say be safe, be well, and I will see you next week, Tuesday, same time. God bless.